Dandavat Pranam devotees, all glories to Srila Gurudev, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Ashi Guru Varga. Happy Radhastami, very most auspicious day. Of course, every Janmashtami, Gaur Purnima, Radhastami, Shri Balaram Purnima, every Vaishnav Tithi is always considered most auspicious. So this is not anything false. Every single appearance day, disappearance day, every Jayanti of Bhagavan is always most auspicious. It's always most auspicious because it's always new. So even if last Radhastami last year, oh, that seemed like the most auspicious. Shri Krishna Janmashtami just now seemed most auspicious. Before that, Balaram Purnima seemed most auspicious. And of course, because we have, by the mercy of our Guru Varga, some leaning towards Radhadasyam, we will naturally say, this is most auspicious. But all of these days are always most auspicious in a very new way. And especially now, because of the environment and so many things, and we cannot have so much physical contact, and we're having to do things virtually, it's forcing us to appreciate the auspiciousness and the ever freshness of the auspiciousness of these days via Shruta Ikshita. Shruta Ikshita means by hearing, we will have darshan of these most auspicious days. So without any further ado, Hey Shri Guru Dina Bandhu Ganada Swandanda Datta Kuranayaka Sindhu Vrindavana Sinavatara Prasida Sigara Pranaya Prachara Ajana Lambito Bujo Konakabodadato Sankirtanai Kapitro Kamlaya Taksho Vishwambro Dvijavaro Yugadama Palo Vande Jagat Priya Karo Karuna Avataro Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Hemam Devachcha Vishundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Shapadaya Shri Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Kasturitila Kamalatapatale Vaksalena Kostavam Nasagare Varamuktikam Karatare Venu Karakankanam Sava Angari Chandanam Sulalitam Kanta Muktavali Brajastrio Parivestito Vijayate Gopala Chudamani He Shishama Sundara Shikara Shekara Smirahasam Yoni Manohara Radhika Rasika Mama Kripanidi Sapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru Tavai Vasmi Najivami Tvayavina Ite Vigyaya Radhe Tvangayamam Charanantikam Yat Kinkareshu Bausa Kalu Kakavani Nitya Parasya Purusha Shakandamuli Tasya Kadara Sanidhi Visavanujas Tatyali Kunja Bhavanangani Maharajini Shama Majami Radha Raravinda Netram Smarami Radha Madhura Smitasyam Vadami Radha Karuna Barajam Teto Mamanasti Gatiyena Kapi Pakita Vihina Yaparada Lakshai Kshiptascha Kamadi Taranga Maje Kripamai Twang Sharanang Prapana Brindi Namaste Charanara Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Shri Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, to understand Srimati Radhika is very much beyond my capability. I'm sure any devotee will say as much. I've heard from the lotus mouth of my Srila Gurudev speaking that the glories of Srimati Radhika are so unlimited that even if one can touch a drop, they are so fortunate. My Gurudev is directly the assistant under Shri Vinod Manjari, working directly in the Seva of Srimati Radhika. Yet in his sadhak group here, he made this statement. So if my Gurudev will make such a statement, how can I think, not having realized bhajan, praying to come to Nishta, how can I realize to speak anything significant on a day like this? But because it is a seva to attempt to serve by taking whatever Sri Guru and our Guru Varga have put in our patra, means our container, then that effort is bhakti. Gurudev directly said once to try is bhakti. So in that way, we begin to try to speak something of the glories of Srimati Radhika. So first, Srimati Radhika, to understand a position, we have to understand the position of Bhagavan himself, Sri Krishna. So in the Paribhasa Sutra of Srimad Bhagavatam, Eti Chamsa Kala Pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is called Swayam Bhagavan. Swayam Bhagavan means that form of God whose qualities, opulence, sweetness, whose everything is self-manifest. It does not come from another source. Every other form of Bhagavan, Ramari Murteshu Kala Nyamena Tishtan, Nanavatara Makaro Bhuvaneshu Kintu, all other forms of Krishna, right? All other forms of Bhagavan, they derive whatever qualities they have from Shri Krishna, who is Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna Swayam Bhagavan? Ramari Murteshu Kala Nyamena Tishtan, Nanavatara Makaro Bhuvaneshu Kintu, Krishnam Swayam Sambhavat Paramam Monyo. Krishna as Swayam Bhagavan, he is the original source of all qualities manifest in any incarnation of Bhagavan. So then the idea becomes, how do you define Bhagavan? So you've just said, Swayam Bhagavan means he has no source of his own origin. Right? Even Brahmaji also realized this. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Adi Govinda Sava Karana Karanam. He begins the 5th chapter Brahma Samhita like this. He's Sava Karana, he's the cause of all other causes, but has no cause himself, which means also no cause to his lakshan or qualities. So, what are those qualities? So the qualities of Bhagavan have been described in a common verse. Aishwarya Samagrasha Virya Yashasvi Jnana Vairagyos. So 6 qualities: opulence, wealth, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. These 6 qualities, when they are had in a complete way, that no ordinary jiva or anyone else can have, when these 6 things are manifest in completeness, that is called Bhagavan. Good. Now we have a description of what is Bhagavan. But the issue comes that not only Krishna has these qualities, Sri Ramachandra has these qualities, Sri Narasimha Bhagavan has these qualities, Sri Varahadev has these qualities. Any form of Bhagavan will have those 6 opulences in full. Now, within the category of fullness, there could be some gradation. But each of the forms of Bhagavan, right, being the direct manifestations of Bhagavan, they'll have these qualities in full. So, Srila Jiva Goswami Pad, in Laghu Toshini commentary, he gave an additional definition to describe who is Bhagavan. Bhagavat Stavat Asadharana Aishwarya Madhurya Tattva Visesh, especially one important element, Swarup Paramananda. So Jiva Goswami Pad said, until and unless a person has qualities, Bhagavat Stavat Asadharana. Asadharana means uncommon. So here uncommon doesn't mean that the 6 qualities we mentioned before, because Bhagavan has them in full and no other jiva has them, that's considered uncommon. No, here the consideration is that within the category of Bhagavan, among all the different manifestations of Bhagavan, who has qualities that are asadharana. It means qualities that no other form of Bhagavan has. That is Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna has 4 qualities which no other form of Bhagavan has. Venu Madhuri, Lila Madhuri, Prem Madhuri, and Rupa Madhuri. So in Sri Krishna, these 4 types of Madhuri exist only in him. So these 4 qualities are asadharana to other forms of Bhagavan. It's not that Ramachandra, Bhagavan is not Rupa Madhuri, very beautiful. But his Rupa Madhuri is not like Krishna's Rupa Madhuri. Lavanya Saram Asam Udvan Ananya Siddhin. The Mathuravasis, the ladies, when they saw Krishna enter the wrestling arena, they described what kind of austerities did the gopis of Braj perform to see this form of Krishna, who's Lavanya Saram. Lavanya Saram means he is the essence of beauty. So what beauty appears in Ramachandra or any other incarnation or anywhere for that matter, the essence of that beauty is Shri Krishna himself. Asama Urdvam. And no one can be equal to, what to speak of superior to Krishna in beauty. In fact, Srila Gurudev mentioned in the verse, what is this? Aishwarya Samagrasya Virayasa Sri. Srila Gurudev says Sri here is Angi. Angi means all the other qualities like his opulence, fame, wealth, knowledge, renunciation, etc. They're all Angas. But Shri is Angi. Shri here means beauty. Krishna's beauty is the main attraction. Right? So here it says that Krishna's beauty is uncommon. No other form of Bhagavan has beauty like Shri Krishna. But Jiva Goswami says, why is Krishna so beautiful? What is the element in Krishna's roop that makes him so beautiful? So then Jiva Goswami says, Swarup Paramananda. So Swarup Paramananda means within Krishna's Swarup there is Paramananda. And what does Paramananda mean? It means the Ananda Shakti. Ananda Shakti means Srimati Radhika. So in the Skanda Purana, they have written, Atmaramastu Radhika Tasya Ramana Evanaso Atmaramasiti Prokta Muni Bir Guyavedi Bir. All of the Munis and all Vedas have given a very confidential meaning to the word Atmaram. Because Krishna is called Atmaram Aptakam. Part of his being Swayam Bhagavan is that he does not need anyone to give anything because he can get everything on his own. And he's Atmaram. But what is Krishna's Atmaramata? This is the question. What is his Atmaramata? Atmaramastu Radhika. His Atmaramata is that Radhika, Tasya Ramana Evanaso, she's doing Ramana in the heart of Krishna. That's why he's Atmaram. So the confidential meaning of the word Atmaram is that Radhika is always playing in the heart of Krishna. Therefore, like in Braj, you have the Thakurji of Radha Raman. Gurudev very many times described Radha Raman means Radhika playing inside the heart of Krishna, Amurt. Amurt means not in her manifest form, but within her inner form, she's playing inside the heart of Krishna. How would this be possible? Because Radhika's tattva is very, very wonderful. Ladini Sara Prem, Prem Sara Bhav, Bhav Parmakastana, Mahabhav. Mahabhav Swarupini, Sri Radha Thakurani. The essence of Krishna's happiness is called Ladini Shakti. What is Ladini Shakti? Ladini Sara Prem. It is the quality called Prem. Rupa Goswami has given definitions of Prem, so many, right? Savata Dongsa Rahitam, Yarapi Dongsa Karane, Yad Bhava Bandhano, Prema Parikritida. So you can look, research these things. So Prem is the essence of what is Ladini Shakti. It is the love that comes from the heart of Radhika to Krishna. And what is the essence of that Prem? Prem Sarabhav. It is a transcendent emotion. But here, this transcendent emotion is not anything we have in this material world, right? This transcendent emotion has direct manifestation. So Ladini Sara Prem, Prem Sara Bhav, Bhav Paramakostanam, when it reaches its highest evolution, it is called Mahabhav. In Mahabhav, you have Rud, Adi Rud, Modan Mohan, and Madan. Right? What is this Mahabhav? Oh, simplify everything, Mukunda Prabhu. Mahabhav Swarupini, Sri Radha Thakurani. The Swarup of that Mahabhav, containing all these things we talked about, the form and the feature of that Mahabhav is Srimati Radharani. So this is who Srimati Radhika is. That Srimati Radhika, she is not different from Krishna. She is Krishna Shakti. Radhika Shakti, Krishna Purna Shakti Mam, Vastu Bhed Nahi. One is Shakti, one is Shakti Mam. And there is no difference between them. Well, if there's no difference between them, how do you have Radha? How do you have Krishna? How does this work? Radha Krishna Achai Ek I Swarup. Radha and Krishna are Ek Swarup. They're one Swarup. When they are one Swarup, this is called Krishna's Atmaramita. But Krishna, when he wants to expand his pleasure, Radhika takes the separate form. Now, when we say takes, it doesn't mean a historical narrative that Radhika at one point took a form. Even when you read pastimes of Radhika's manifestation in the Ras Mandal, she appeared from the left side of Krishna. This is ontological descriptions, right? In other words, Radhika is always existing, and this is how Leela works. The Leela works to make different arrangements of how Radhika manifests herself, right? So, beyond Krishna's Atmaramata is another kind of happiness called Pararamata. Pararamata means when your happiness is expressed in connection with others. So, Radha Krishna Achai Eki Sarup, Leela Rasa Aswadite Dare Dui Rup. Therefore, Sri Radha and Krishna have eternally taken two forms in order to enjoy this Pararamata in an unlimited way. Srimati Radhika, she is not only Krishna's source of happiness, but she is the Shakti that manifests the power in Sri Baladev Tattva, which therefore manifests all of the elements of Sandini Shakti. What does this mean? So, Radhika is the happiness, but that happiness is expressed in so many different varieties in the spiritual world. Krishna's Dham, Krishna's own body, the body of all the Brijavasis, right? All of the different features of Braj, the trees, Giriraj Govardhan, everything. That substance of the spiritual world where Krishna tastes happiness from the Vastu of those, the Vastu manifestation of those things that are imbued with Ladini Shakti, that is called Sandini. And Radhika is the imbued happiness in those things. She is the embedded happiness in those things. Other than that, they would not be tasteful to Krishna. You understand? Unless Radhika's presence is there, the thing is not tasteful to Sri Krishna. So for this reason, in the Upanishads, there's one verse there. Devi Krishna Mayi Prokta. So Devi Krishna Mayi Prokta. So Devi has also a meaning. Devi means, Divyati means who is the manifestation of transcendental playfulness. So Divya koi Devi koi Jyotamani Paramashundari. One explanation is there. That Radhika, she is the manifest form of the expansion of all Krishna's happiness and Leela. And she, Paramashundari, she is so beautiful. And her form, Krishna va Krida Puja Vasati Nagari. And her very form, Radhika's very form is the, Nagar is like means a town, but here Nagari means the form of Srimati Radhika. Right? So, Radhika's form is the place of both transcendental Leela and transcendental worship by Sri Krishna. So Srimati Radhika, she's everything. Therefore, she's called Krishnamayi also. Krishnamayi means that person who is saturated within and without of Krishna. She's inside Krishna and also outside of Krishna. Everywhere that she looks, she sees everything related to Krishna. Similarly, Krishna is completely permeated by Srimati Radhika. Therefore, Krishna has nothing else to enjoy except Radhika. If Radhika is not present, Now, Radhika could be present in different ways. This is a different discussion. But without Radhika's presence, the rasa of whatever Krishna is trying to enjoy doesn't take place. This was acknowledged by Sri Ramananda Roy in Ramananda Samvad. Samyak Saravasana Krishna Raslila. Rasalila Vasanate Radhika Shrinkala. That Radhika, she's the Shrinkala means like a thread. So even though Samyak Saravasana Krishna Raslila, of all of Krishna's pastimes, the Raslila is supreme. But without Radhika, the Shrinkala, or the thread that binds the Ras together, the Ras has no taste. Therefore, when Srimati Radhika, even in Sarid Ras, left the Ras Lila, then Krishna immediately also left. Understand? As soon as Radhika left, all of the tasteful ingredients of the Rasa Lila, it also goes. You understand? Remember, all the other gopis at the Ras Lila, they're to enhance the pleasure of Shri Krishna. You understand? But they're not the essence of the pleasure of Shri Krishna. Srimati Radhika is the essence of the pleasure of Shri Krishna. Therefore, if Radhika will go, prasadaya prasamaya tatra antradhiyata. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Krishna, he simply disappeared. But in the Vasanti Ras Lila, right? Shri Jayadeva Goswami has written, at that time, Krishna, realizing Radhika left the rasa, what did Krishna do? Tat Tajya Vrajya Sundari. Even in front of the most high class of gopis, because at Sarid Ras Lila, so many different categories of gopis are there. Sadhana Siddha, Nitya Siddha, all. But at Vasanti Ras Lila, only highest quality of gopis are there. But still, Tat Tajya Vrajya Sundari. Krishna even left them when Radhika leaves. So Srimati Radhika, she is the essence of all of Krishna's happiness. So Devi Krishnamayi Prokta, Radhika Paradevata. Radhika is also the topmost of all of the different, whenever Krishna expands to enjoy something, his Shakti expands also. So Radhika, she is the Paradevata in the sense, not Paradevata meaning like Krishna, but Paradevata here meaning Krishna Shakti. That Krishna, no matter how he expands, he cannot taste anything without the presence of his Shakti. So if Krishna will expand to Sri Ramachandra Bhagavan, must be Sita. All of Krishna's expansions throughout all the Vaikuntha planets must be some feature of Shakti, right? If you go to any temple in South India, you'll see three Shaktis there always. Sri, Bhu, and Nila or Lila. So in this way, Radhika is the Mool Shakti Tattva. Wherever Krishna expands in any way, form, or fashion, all of Krishna's Shakti also expands, and this is how Krishna enjoys. Without Krishna's Shakti, Gurudev said Krishna is like Nirgun Brahman. You understand? So this is the position of Radhika. Sarva Lakshmi Mayi Sarva. Sarva Lakshmi Mayi. All of the different Shaktis, as I just mentioned, they have originated from Srimati Radhika. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavis Tabina Evani Rupataya Kalabi. All of the different Shaktis are expansions of Radhika. All of the gopis, right? All of the different gopis, they're simply various manifestations of Radhika. Her Astasakti. Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami mentions, and it's in Ramananda Samvad. They are her 8 avast. Avast means like a mental mood, right? And they also function as 8 different manifestations of Radhika's moods, like Abhisar, Vasaksajja, Kandita, Utkandita, Kalahandrita, Vipralambita, Prasita Bhattika, and Swadhina Bhatrika Nayak. So these 8 different categories of mental moods of Radhika. The Astasaki, they personify these things also. Understand? Also, her manjaris, like Rup Manjari, personification of her Rup. Rati Manjari, personification of her Rati. Lavanga Manjari, her beauty. Guna Manjari, her quality. Vilas Manjari, her pastimes. Ramana Manjari, her happiness. So in this way, all the different Sakis, and Manjaris, they all also personify expansions of Radhika. They are called Kaya Vyuha. So, in this way, Radhika is the essential ingredient in Krishna's happiness. In the Adi Lila chapter 4, it is mentioned, there is no other source of Krishna's happiness except Srimati Radhika. So, wait, Mukunda, what does that mean? Does that mean Krishna does not have any taste in Vatsalya Prem? Krishna is not getting any taste in Preyo Ras or Sakya Ras? He's not tasting anything, only Srimati Radhika? No. It is that Srimati Radhika is the essential ingredient in any ras, because every rasa, the ingredients that provides happiness is called Alladini Shakti. And I've already explained, Srimati Radhika is the personification of that Alladini Shakti. So every rasa is actually service to Adi Rasa. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam starts. Janmadyasya yataha anvayat itarachastra arteshu abhigyasarat. It starts Janma Adi Rasa. The whole basis of Srimad Bhagavatam is to explain what is the nature of the asraya of Radhika Prem, right? Because Srimad Bhagavatam has 10 categories. What is it? Saga Visagascha Stanaposnutaya Manavata Ishanukata Nirodha Mukti Asraya. So normally we think Asraya, which is the final category, means taking shelter of Krishna. But how do you take shelter of Krishna? You have to take shelter of Krishna by taking shelter of Bhakti. Who is Bhakti? Bhakti is the amort form of Srimati Radhika. Bhakti Shakti is the amort form of Srimati Radhika. So it is the Shakti of Srimati Radhika that's imbued in the Jiva's heart that allows him the capacity and opportunity to serve Sri Krishna. Therefore, the final category of Srimad Bhagavatam is Asraya Tattva, and this means how to take shelter of Radhika. The whole Bhagavatam has been to describe the superiority of the Prem of Radhika. In the last line of the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Satyam Parama Dhimahi. You should meditate. Meditate on what? Satyam Parama Dhimahi. Meditate on what? Meditate what is the highest kind of service to Krishna. The highest type of service to Krishna is manifest in Srimati Radhika. Therefore, the highest type of meditation for any jiva is to take shelter of those processes which lead to Radhadasyam. Is Sakya Ras Radhadasyam? Yes, because how Krishna will taste the wonderful nature of any Madhurya Lila if Krishna has no friends. Even Krishna has friends. Adyantika Rahasya Gyan Saki Bhava Samamrita. He has friends like Priyanamasakas who even are aware of Krishna's dealings in Madhurya Ras, like Subal, Madhumanga, Ujwal, etc. But even if he does, like his Priyasakas, like Sridham and others, right? Also, by having that type of friendship, it nourishes his mood of having conjugal relationship with gopis, and especially Srimati Radhika. How? Because he has his friends. And because that is somewhat hidden from those friends, it is a secret in the heart of Krishna and is giving pleasure. Same with Nanda and Yashoda. Krishna's Vatsalya Prem nourishes the forbiddenness, right? Because one feature of conjugal love is nirantara, means it's forbidden, right? Prachana mukata, it has to be kept hidden, right? Dulabhata, it's very difficult to achieve meeting sometimes. Why? Because they have parents. Jatil and Kutila are the in-laws of Radhika, and in the case of Nanda and Yashoda also, they come at night, for instance, during Pradosh Lila, and they dress Krishna, bathe Krishna, everything, and then all of the singers come, and they're performing so many wonderful dramas and everything for Krishna, and then Krishna yawns. And Mother Yashoda thinks, oh, Krishna's tired, and she puts him to bed, but then he sneaks out, and this is how he does his meeting with Radhika when she does Abhisar, everything. So without parents, without friends, without the land of Braj, how can even Madhurya Ras be nourished? So everything is there, but everything is serving Janma Adi Ras. Everything has come from Adi Ras, everything is serving Adi Ras. And Srimad Bhagavatam therefore concludes telling us how to get on board with serving Adi Ras. The very last verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Nama Sankirtanayasa Sava Papa Pranasanam Pranamudukasonam Tam Namaming Haring Param. The last verse of Srimad Bhagavatam says, listen, if you want to do Satyam Paramadimahi, if you want to meditate on how to obtain this Radhadasyam, the best meditation is Nama Sankirtan. Nama Sankirtanayasa Sava Papa Pranasanam. Why? Because this kind of meditation has the power to remove all kinds of pop and anarthas and everything else. Gurudev also, I asked directly this question on a morning walk with Gurudev here in front of my house actually in 2008. I asked Gurudev, is this verse, Nama Sankirtanayasa Sava Papa Pranasa, is this the prediction of the coming of Mahaprabhu? He said, yes, definitely. So another indication is here to do really Satyam Paramadimahi, which is the first verse of Bhagavatam. You have to take the last verse of Bhagavatam, and this is an indication you'll have to approach it through Goa Lila. Gorangera Rasanave Shetoranga Jeve Dube Shirada Madhavantaranga. If you dive deeply into the ocean of Goa Lila, when you come up from the ocean of Goa Lila, you'll find yourself in the Antaranga of Shri Radha and Madhava. So the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to describe the supremacy of Radha Dasyam, Radha Prem. So I won't speak too long because we have another one of these conferences at 6:15 or something like that. So I'm also trying to get time in between. We've had a very busy morning, all morning as well. But I wanted also to describe a appearance of Srimati Radhika. There are many different appearances because in so many different kalpas that Srimati Radhika appears, she appears in different ways. Sometimes she's found by Vrishabhanu Maharaj floating on one lotus leaf at Raval, in the Jamuna. At other times, of course, she becomes the daughter, along with Chandravali and other Sakis. She becomes the daughter, rather her and Chandravali, of Vindhyachal. And then she's taken by Putana along with her other Sakis and like that. So, different ones. But also, one pastime is described that she appears directly from the womb of Kirtida. So, it's described here that Srimati Radhika, Vrishabhanu Maharaj and Kirtida, though they had been married for quite some time, like Nanda and Yashoda, as they became older, they were unable to have a child. So at that time, they tried many things. They tried the performance of yajna, like Putashti Kama Yajna. They also tried to do different kinds of austerities. They also had so many pujas done by Brahmins who came to their house. Finally, Kirtida said, listen, why don't we worship Katyayani? Not like Katyayani Brat, like the other gopis did, but just to worship Devi Katyayani. So, Vrishabhanu Maharaj, he agreed, yes, this will be a good idea. So he went and he began to perform Monbrat. Monbrat means not speaking, hardly eating anything, not doing anything, only meditating. In this way, after some time, one voice came to him, and this voice says, listen, the only way for you to get your desires fulfilled is if you will get the mercy of Sri Nam. So Vrishabhanu Maharaj, hearing this, he was waiting to get details. What does it mean to get Nam? What does it mean to get this Nam? So then the voice came and told again, oh, you should approach one Rishi. His name was Kratu Rishi, and all details will be given to you by Kratu Rishi. So Vrishabhanu Maharaj, he went, and by the grace of Bhagavan, he found the ashram of Kratu Rishi, Kratu Muni, on the bank of the Jamuna. So he went and the sage asked him, well, what can I do for you? So he asked, listen, I heard about the glory of Sri Nam and the fact that Sri Nam is Chintamani. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. So Kraturishi said, yes, but there are many rules and regulations you have to follow. Being in a quiet place, being very fixed, chanting non-stop, without distraction. So Vrishabhanu Maharaj, he accepted all of these different things and he began to chant Sri Nam. As he was chanting Sri Nam, very beautiful, wonderful effulgence came into his heart. And then he began to realize that that effulgence was the realization of the nature of his chanting. So as he chanted more and more, he came to find that this same effulgence had now manifested in the womb of Kirtida, his wife. And at that time he realized that now his goal had been fulfilled. So there are so many narrations of the pastimes of how Srimati Radhika appears, but I thought reading today that this also one was very sweet. That by the nature of Nam, this is how Srimati Radhika makes her appearance. Why? Because Sri Nam is everything. One verse Rupa Goswami is written, Tundi Tundavani Vidinute Rati Tunda Avali. When I begin to chant, right, I wish, Tunda Avali means I wish my tongue would expand to accommodate it, right? So I began thinking about this verse, and he says that when I begin to chant, so what is the first part of the chanting? Hari. Hari is the vocative of Hara, which means Srimati Radhika. So as soon as he mentions the name Radhika, then Rupa Goswami is saying, oh, now I wish I had millions of tongues. Karna, Krodha, Kadambini, I wish I had millions of ears. Because who can estimate how much nectar is in the two syllables Krishna? So this is amazing because he's saying, listen, without even having reached Krishna, having chanted Hare, having taken shelter Srimati Radhika through her name, he's realized how much nectar must be there in the two syllables Krishna. So the way to have Krishna revealed is only through Srimati Radhika. So here Rupa Goswami in very poetic fashion he's given, oh yes, if you will chant in such a way that when you begin chanting, then Srimati Radhika enters your heart. And when she enters your heart, then automatically, as an anubhav of Srimati Radhika entering your heart, then your tongue will begin to dance due to the presence of Sri Nam Akshar on your tongue. And you'll realize Nam Akshar means the letters of the name and the name are non-different. So he's saying here, just by beginning to chant and by chanting the name of Radhika in the form of Hare, right? Then I can only begin to experience how much nectar must be there in the two syllables Krishna. Very beautiful and wonderful description by Sri Rupa Goswami Pad. So I really like this description of the appearance of Srimati Radhika because it involves Sri Harinam. So devotees, I am going to end a little bit early. Like I said, it was like a very long morning. I had other conferences and things like that. And then again, turning around, I think at 6:15 or something, we have another conference. And we did manage to get all the cooking done to offer to Srimati Radhika today. But also, I know many other devotees have been speaking. I know Pujapad Bhagavat Maharaj spoke earlier. In fact, we'll be on the same conference again this evening. I think Nrsimha Prabhu also spoke. So anyways, I'm praying for the mercy of all devotees. And we should all be praying for the mercy of our Guru Varga and for a drop of the Kripaka Taksh of Srimati Radhika, that she'll give her a sidelong glance even from a very great distance and inspire our Bhajan Sadhan, that in this life, maybe we will reach the stage of Nishta in any life. After reaching the stage of Nishta, we can do real Bhajan, when Ruchi will come in the heart, and doing Bhajan and Ruchi, or we can become deeply absorbed in the stage of Asakti, and then Sudha Sattva Visheshatma, Prem Suyang Sasamya Bhav, Ruchi Bish Chittamasranya, Kiraso Bhav Uchite. Then Shri Bhav or Bhav will enter the heart, At that time, at least, almost all the anarthas will be cleaned out. And at that time, we can do real bhajan. Seva sarika rupena siddha rupena chatri. And in that bhavavast, we can then, in the glimpse of our own swarup, do deep meditation on serving Srimati Radhika, and then by grace of Srimati Radhika and Shri Krishna, in the birth after that, we may be able to obtain Vastu Siddhi and into Sri Brajadama from the womb of Vini Gopi, and following Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, pray that, oh Radhika, Sakayate Mama, Namostu Namostu Nityam, Dashayate Mama Rasostu Rasostu Satyam, O Srimati Radhika, I don't want at any time to have position like your Soki. Only I'm praying that always I will be able to have the mood of your Dasi. So this is how we take shelter of Srimati Radhika, through the mood of our Prayojanacharya, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, like he's written in Vilapa Kusmanjali, that all we want is this dasatwa to the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika and to serve Krishna to her lotus feet. Jai Shri Radhastami ki Jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Vancha Kalpa Turubhyascha, Kripa Shinduvevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. So I'm going to push the finish button here, and I would imagine that shares it to streams of nectar. I've done this before, but I believe this is how it works. So Dandavat Pranam devotees. I'll see other devotees on the conference at 6:30 or 6:15. But I'll be on listening earlier than that at any rate. And then after that, at 7:45, again, we'll be on our usual phone conference tonight, and I think many devotees will be offering Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika. Alright, Dandavats devotees, Hari Hari Bol, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.